Let's take a few minutes to discuss the fuel connections when installing the gasoline-powered HGLAA generator set. To begin, the maximum fuel pump lift is 914 millimeters, or 36 inches. The generator set and propulsion engine fuel supply and return lines must not be interconnected. Connections should meet the requirements of the following SAE standards when applicable. Terminate the generator set fuel pickup above the vehicle engine pickup in the supply tank to keep the generator set from running the vehicle out of fuel. And connect 1/4 inch fuel line from the vehicle fuel tank to the generator set. Your installation should utilize 1/4 inch ID welded and drawn Type 304L stainless or AISI 1008 to 1010 low carbon steel tubing of 28 thousandths of an inch minimum wall thickness. The tubing must meet requirements for 150 psi operating pressure and have corrosion resistance equal to or better than hot-dipped zinc galvanized hose beads. Use suitable tooling to form tubing ends into SAE J1231 Type 1 or Type 3 double flare hose beads. This is recommended for all tubing and fittings. For flexible hoses, use 1/4 inch ID fuel hose that meets applicable standards for evaporative emissions. Route the fuel line along bulkheads and frame members such that it is protected. The entire length of the fuel line must be visible for inspection and accessible for replacement. It's preferred that fuel line routing be parallel to the motorized chassis fuel line. Support and protect fuel lines to restrain movement and prevent chafing or contact with sharp edges, electrical wiring, and hot exhaust parts. The fuel line should be at or above the top of the fuel tank to reduce siphoning if a line breaks or a hose comes off. Evaporative or EVAP systems are required for vehicles that do not have an engine, such as trailers. EVAP systems will require an additional fuel vapor line from the carbon canister to the generator set. The set is supplied with a 7.9 millimeter, 5/16 of an inch hose barb for connecting the canister purge line. Use 5/16 inch ID hose for the canister purge line from the carbon canister to the generator set. Use an SAE J2044 Quick Connect fuel fitting on the canister hose barb or use soap-free lubricant such as WD-40 to slip the hoses on the canister barbs. Secure the hoses with Oetiker ear-type clamps or equivalent. NFPA 58, the standard for the storage and handling of liquefied petroleum gases, should be used as a guide for the installation of an LPG fuel system. NFPA 1192, the standard on recreation vehicles for liquefied petroleum gases, should be used as a guide for the installation of the LPG fuel system in regard to the following sections. The gas inlet of the pressure regulator should be at least 229 millimeters or 9 inches water column. The pressure must not exceed 330 millimeters or 13 inches water column. Route LPG fuel lines away from electrical wiring and hot engine exhaust components. Fuel lines should be accessible for inspection and replacement, protected from damage, and secured to prevent kinking, contact with sharp edges, and chafing due to vibration. Route the LPG vent hose so that it vents to the outside, or provide required openings. For a long fuel line run, use seamless steel tubing with flared ends. Make flexible hose connections at the fuel tank and at the generator set. Use 3/8 inch ID fuel line for runs up to 0.9 meters, 3 feet, and 1/2 inch ID up to 4.6 meters, 15 feet. Don't connect the generator set fuel supply line to any appliance fuel supply line. The generator set can draw fuel away from other appliances and cause a flameout. To prevent the possibility of flameout, the fuel supply system must be designed to deliver sufficient fuel for normal operation of the generator set and other appliances at the expected temperature conditions. It may be necessary to use a separate fuel tank for the generator set if sufficient fuel cannot be supplied with a single tank system. Upon completion of the installation, fill the LPG tank and test every joint and fitting in the LPG supply with soap bubbles. That covers the basic information you'll need to complete the fuel connections for the HGLAA generator set. Thanks for watching.